going?
He's going. Go for it.
Beat it.
Let it eat.
Hard.
Go.
Hard. Give her a couple more taps.
There you go.
I feel like I needed safety glasses for that.
Probably would have been the play, but by golly, that is a god dang seat.
Gold darn.
Look at this. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. If you can't tell by Jace, we are going to Power Driven, and we are currently here now. Couple goals for the weekend: fix or modify our transmission a little bit to run a different style band, and we're gonna fix our cylinder head. A big thank you to PDD for offering to do that, and we got some new goodies. So I sent out a few pictures of what happened with the locks essentially pulling through the retainers. And Jeremy was like, hey, I got these new valve springs. Do you want to give them a try? I said, absolutely. So he sent over 2 sets, and we're going to put them to the test. So one set is going to go in my engine, and then the other set in this guy. So we have this spring down here, which I'm sure Jace is recalibrating for you guys. And what do the numbers look like, Myer? Like, what are we talking about here?
So, for this my head here, which is pretty average, is an OEM casting, the install height to the top of the retainer, because it is a dual spring with a ledge, so you can't just measure just the spring height. So the install height to the top of the retainer is 1.5 inches, and at 1.5 inches of compression, it has, or at 1.5 inches of height, it has 142 pounds. So that means 142 pounds on the seat. Oh God! What are we doing there, buddy? What does it measure out to? Noise. Anyway, so it's 142 pounds on the seat, which isn't excessive. Factory's 92, like your typical R4.5K, or like the 103 pound whatevers that you can get, are 117, and then our race conicals are 134. So these are 142, a little bit more, which is, but like that's fine. They have a lot of pressure over the nose. Our like a 4.5K is 196. Our race conicals are 209. These guys have about 290. So when you are controlling a lot of RPM, a lot of drive pressure, these things will have 0 issues holding that back.
And just to be clear on these are sold as a race valve spring. Yeah. So obviously, as you start to increase the spring load on the cam, it will cause at least some accelerated wear. We run no limit. Hey, Jace, I probably wouldn't do that. We run a no limit DLC coated triple heat treated tappet and one of Eric's camshafts. Now that we kind of have this data, I am going to make a phone call to Eric, make sure we have the right cam for that job. But we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So that is kind of one thing to think about. This is not a valve spring for every single daily driven truck. That's why you see like PDD's 4.5Ks are very similar to the rest of the industry's just upgraded valve spring. The race conicals that they offer, again, that's not something you want to have on your tow truck. Unless you drive a tow truck like Myer, then maybe the argument's made here. But for you data guys here, this is what it looks like. And then we took the outer spring out as well.
Pardon the handwriting. So our install height is a 1.505, and that is to the top of the retainer. Like say the bottom of the retainer has a step, so both springs aren't in the same like height. So we just went total install height here. 1.5 is the install height. So that means that 1.5 would be our seat pressure, and then on a 18220 or similar like Colt Stage 4 that has 440 thousandths of lift, so that gets you right into 1.05, which puts you in the middle of those two at 290. This is with just the big spring, because I was curious like how much they are each contributing, and the free height is there. Coil bind height is 0.85, so you got a nasty cam.
Yeah.
Your spring pressure is pretty dang high, but by golly, it won't be.
But I mean, if you have that big of a cam, the last thing you're probably worried about is how long it's going to last. So, yeah, a big thank you to Jeremy. You guys know Jeremy's no stranger on the truck or to the build, and we just appreciate them doing that. I'll give you guys a little bit of, this is what the retainer looks like, and this is that step that Myer's referring to. So the outer spring goes on the outer ledge, the inner spring then installs on the inner step here. And then they have some chunky locks,
Dude,
which is really
what's for dinner.
I mean, that is. Let's go get a stock one here.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah, here's a stock.
It's like if our 12 valve 10 degree locks had kids.
Yeah. So
kids grew up
a lot
with
more
bullies.
locks there. And full disclosure, this conversation started with I don't want to deal with this again, and Jeremy was really just kind of checking in on us, making sure we didn't need anything after UCC. And, you know, he asked what happened, and I showed him, and he's like, oh, like, dude, I got these I want to try. So we appreciate him letting us try them. We'll see what they do. So far, I don't think we're going to pull the locks through the retainers anymore. My only worry is how long a camshaft will last. The no limit cam that's in our engine has now been in 5 engine builds. So it might be time to replace it, and if we have to, we have to. No big deal. You know, the head's already off the engine. We'll just unglue the oil panel one more time. But yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and start working on the cylinder head. Basically what happened, we bent a couple of valves slightly. So I'm assuming Will is gonna put them in the valve or the seat and guide machine, true them up. We'll strip our cracked head for parts and work on it that way. So that's kind of what the video is, and then maybe we'll cover the transmission, maybe we won't, just depends, but that is our goal for the weekend. Okay, so Will has begun the disassembly here. What's your diagnosis?
Well, the retainers are all cracked. See
Oh,
all the
wow.
spider cracks,
Yeah.
but they're that one's cracked.
So they are factory retainers.
They're the factory retainers.
I mean, I looked at them.
Did the locks survive, or?
They're kind of swedged looking on the
Yeah.
back. See how they're distorted and shiny
Yeah.
here? Like it was
And look, they're
forced
also kind of like that edge is kind of boogered up too. And then over here, guys, is my old I&I head. This is the one that cracked into what, number 6 or 5 exhaust port. So instead of sending it all back up there, because everyone's got lives, we are just gonna take the valves out of this head. And then I think we talked to Brighton. He said, let me know how many valves I needed. And what we will do essentially is get some new valves and then probably fill this head and make this a true backup. Not too bad. But this will be our spare parts head for right now. Very nice. All right, guys, so we have this fully disassembled, and basically all of the intakes were cracking the retainer, like we showed you, these spider cracks, and swedging the lock in. So it was kind of swelling the lock. So I think with our new seats from Wagler and our much thicker locks from Wagler, this should take care of it. Myer's going to dyno the springs. And again, like, this isn't a bash on industrials, valve springs, or anything like that. You know, they have never seen this before, so it's kind of like one of those things. You break it, test it, repeat it, and I'm excited to try something different that hopefully will last a long time and not take out my camshaft. But could have been a lot. Oh, wow, it's ovaled, Will.
Oh yeah.
It's not even a perfect circle, guys. It's actually starting to oval.
Cracked so far.
Yeah. So definitely we were moments from destruction. I think another sled pole probably would have done her in for sure. A couple of the seals got torn up, but it looks like just a couple valves. And good thing we got 24 good ones over here, and we'll get it swapped over with our new springs. And then, like I said before, we're going to mess around with filling this head and probably put it back together. It'll be a good spare. I'm really hemming and hawing right now on ordering another deck plate block, or ordering a deck plate kit, or maybe a chaos block, or maybe a billet block. I'm kind of trying to weigh my options, but either way, this will be a good head to run for most of those options as a good backup. And Industrial already said they'd send me valves, so it is what it is. We'll probably need some valves, maybe some seals, but all in all, not too bad. So there's the one that hit the piston. This one's bent. This is the other exhaust. It's slightly bent. And so far, everything else has kind of been coming out pretty decent. Yeah, slight hammerage, not too bad. Are we not numbering them?
I decided not to.
Okay, all right. So we're doing a what?
We're gonna reface them.
We're gonna reface them and then
So we'll put them in the valve grinder, and whichever any we use.
So we're getting the royal treatment here.
Just
Essentially.
decided at the power level of this truck, it should probably have proper, attention.
The problem you run into, guys, is you spend so much time on this, and like everyone knows that at any moment, all of this
we know
works.
that we're gonna spend probably 20 times as much time working on this head alone.
I can
than
destroy
when
it in
it's actually
5
gonna run.
seconds. Yeah, I can destroy it in 5 seconds on a dyno pull, but we'll see. Maybe not. But the nice part is, Myer, what'd you find out about these valve springs? These are actually very nice valve springs.
They are more than just your entry level valve spring for sure.
They're lighter. They're lighter than the new wagglers we got.
Scale.
They're a great valve spring.
No, that's very comparable to what we run.
Yeah, so these were definitely not your average valve springs. So
But these retainers were your average
stock
retainer.
ones. But when I
fair,
told
never seen it fail.
when I told Tyler Kipp what happened, he's like, those were stock retainers and locks, and he's like, it's amazing what a stock part will handle before a failure. And I got to give him credit. He was in fact right. 3,000 horsepower, 6,000 RPM for many times.
I told Myer to run stock retainers because we've never seen them crack. And
Yeah,
now
I was
now
like,
I don't even
no.
have to have the data anymore. I
Yeah.
have the data.
You're welcome.
He's
So
trying to sacrifice this lamb.
I'm glad that you figured out the limits of stock retainers. for me.
it's kind of funny. I was listening to some of your guys' talks and just everything, and it's like, it's weird because I used to learn a lot from Todd on what not to do. And it seems now how the
tables have
tip turned. Yes, talking about timing and fuel quantity and all that stuff. So it'll be curious to see what your poverty pumps can do with that data of a precision fuel injection system. I am curious on the 12 mil 2,000 horsepower. That would be interesting.
100%.
I'm just saying, Uncle Rico is
all
here.
I need is one megajet from you, and we got it.
Okay. I didn't bring any, but
It's
I
a
could have.
stealthy standby. Let's
Oh.
just go. Wow.
Okay, so this is our other transmission that we are going to do the mods to hopefully drag race better. We're going to do some second gear band stuff. But, we'll show you guys. So it's funny is I wanted the choline steels for the dyno. Only one trans had it. So the choline steels did not actually go on the dyno. We have our 7 clutch set up. Got a little hot. Is what it is. Everything else looks good. That's what I try to tell people when you invest in a transmission. Very interesting that plate got hot. Ooh, that's my Chinese drum supplier right there. You might have heard of him.
It looks like it might have been hot before it went in. Because it's hot spotted on the back.
Okay, so diagnosis
I think we were
unknown.
out of the 70s when on
Yeah.
the hot refresh in the pit.
So, yeah, but this is an OEM 48 drum that I get off eBay. China's finest. And yeah, everything else looks okay. Spines are straight. Had the So Mara, what are we gonna do here?
What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
We're gonna tear it all the way down and parts wash for this because it's nasty.
Jace, are you gonna organize?
What?
Oh, you're welcome, Reed.
What?
Hey, let me show him the sprags real quick. No, it's okay. I'll make him go outside. But okay. All right. So as you could tell by the spray paint that has made its way off of this case, if this transmission could talk, so the main case here is the original case that came in my 07 truck, and the overdrive housing that's painted red first, then blue, then this gray was actually the 05's stock overdrive housing. And then the other transmission that's currently in my truck has the 05's original main case and a new old stock overdrive housing. So, yeah.
Did you flip flop the overdrive housings?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because it was cracked, remember? It kept leaking.
I know we flip flopped it. So that was on the 07 that we put the new use.
No, we put it on the 05. Because at the time, the 05 was like the UCC truck, and it got the new one. So, because the 05's original transmission was painted red because it was a PDD 850.
Yeah, I guess it would never probably painted blue, huh?
No, it didn't get painted blue until we did the back to blue transmission build. Still to date, my highest grossing YouTube video of all time. It's amazing.
You're welcome.
I'd give you a cut, but I don't have a job anymore, dude. It's real hard. And you're making me buy parts while I'm here. I thought because PDD sponsored me, I got everything for free. We really need to renegotiate our agreement here.
Yeah, I agree.
No. But we'll get this transmission set up. Basically, we're going to a rigid band. And just replacing some stuff. A couple things that are just old. Like this transmission's seen some stuff. So Will is just touching up some stuff for more flow. And I gave him permission at this point. Like, this head owes me nothing. And he was using his manual tools, which again, guys, this is... We're doing this on a Saturday. Will's donating his time. And this probably will pick up flow. However, we turned a seat. Where's the old seat? So we turned one exhaust seat. And we were debating on green Loctite, which I was about to send green Loctite and peen the seat. But then Will was like, oh, maybe I have it. So PDD had these Tucker seats in a box. So we're going to cut this down.
And they're too big for stock valves.
Yep.
Probably why we had them on the shelf.
Yep. So we're going to cut this down and then replace this one seat here. So we'll do one oversized. All the rest of them did not turn. And, yeah.
Cross your fingers.
Cross our fingers.
You know what
I mean,
fix this problem?
no seats.
Induction hard.
Yeah.
Look
You know,
at
the
that.
mitten chip head right
The
there.
mitten chip.
There's no seats. Turn on Myers' old head right there.
No.
But you'd have to run factory
This
shelf.
is what you need. You have
No, dude.
What if you hit?
Hey, don't
What
lie.
if you hit 4K of the factory shelf? Would that just be like impressive?
We just
Would
we don't
be.
even care. We just want it in.
Yeah. Dude, you know how much boost that would take?
I mean, it takes a lot.
It wouldn't take a lot of boost. It's like 230 CFM. It's like
You know what I need? We will try that, okay? Banks grid heater delete, Banks monster am. I bet you we can make 4,000 with 80 pounds of boost.
No nice.
Actually, I bet you the engine will be somehow creating a vacuum.
It's like teleport the
Yeah.
oxygen from the rainforest right to your intake.
100%. 100%. So,
Like you said dick instead of intake. It's like what?
yeah. So anyway, this is the kind of stuff like you just take calculated risks. I mean, I was honestly, the green Loctite was winning, and it's like anything though. How long will it hang on? You don't know. This isn't something I would do on a stock truck or a tow truck or a street truck, but on something that's already made 3,000 horsepower and
some with a $50,000 engine. Of course you would do this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, like, you know, a lot of people didn't believe the plastic age deck light engine and stuff. Like, you'd be amazed at what will run for a
Quinn caliper.
what? Yeah, but I mean, like, so, if you're not here for a long time,
I just looked at the old
it's
one.
okay. So we're gonna get it fixed.
5,000.
And yeah, nice Saturday. Jace's going hard cleaning that. Say hi, buddy. He's going hard cleaning that engine crane. Todd, leave a mess. Yeah, you cleaning it? Good job.
Beat it.
Let it eat.
Hard.
Go.
Hard. Give her a couple more taps.
There you go.
I feel like I needed safety glasses for that.
Probably would have been the play, but by golly, that is a god dang seat.
Gold darn.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Coefficient of shrinkage, Gus.
Insulated.
It pulled the insulator. I mean, dude, it doesn't get any better than that. When I watch people do it, it's like, boom!
Oh yeah, that's what. After the first.
you had it, the first hit, I'm like, go, baby.
Well, I couldn't tell if it was like true enough. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, that's why I put such a long. And mine, when I did it, because I made that for mine, it was like
It
held
fit
it
the
very
seat,
square.
Yeah.
Look at that custom tool.
Taps to make sure it sounds.
Oh, it sounded good.
Yeah.
It's a camera roll.
Look at this. Look at this tool we got here. That's one thing nice about being a transmission shop. You always
Paper
have.
towel holders.
You always have, like seal drivers, seat drivers.
My favorite
stealthy
part
standby.
about like Cummins and 48s and all that, like they include disassembly and reassembly tools in the transmission. Like, oh, you don't have a overdrive alignment tool? stock intermediate shaft. Like, oh, you can't pull the pump out? Couple overdrive case bolts. Or VPs, they knew they were such colossal piles of junk that they gave you an injector puller tool in the valve cover.
Very
The
true.
question is, do we put this in the seat and guide machine and do a proper beautiful, or do we
Just do
risk
that.
the
Well,
hand
the
cut?
WTF hand fab.
WTF handcraft.
Oh, we didn't put the lock on it.
You don't. You don't want to insulate. WTF. This is what your seat could look like. It's whoa. Getting a little snug here with the impromptu head job.
Dude, that thing's not even cold anymore. It's like the heat from the...
All right, guys, so we put it on the old valve machine here, and we got that seat installed. We'll cut the 45, then we cut a little bit of the throat to set the valve depth closer than I can measure, and now we're gonna finish it off to match the rest, and that will be a repair. Look at that. We're finishing up the night with a cylinder resurface, and then I'm going to cut the fire rings with the BHJ because they don't want used heads in their fancy machine, and that's all right. I'm pretty sure I cut these by hand before. I will say, technology is pretty cool, but
It's not that we don't want used machines. I don't know how to use the
no, it's all
firing
right. It's all right.
program.
It's all right. And Myer is still working on my transmission. All good things, I'm sure. So we got the seat repair. We got everything cleaned up. We picked up some flow.
I can fire ring a block, and that I know how to do that. But I
Okay.
don't know how to fire ring in the head machine yet.
So now we're just doing we have it set for 5,000ths. It does a 3,000ths rough cut. I say we will, and then a 2,000ths finish cut. It appears to be warped about 7,000ths.
It cut the first inch and stopped, and right now it's just cutting air. So we'll see if it starts cutting a little in the end here. Because look, there's cut here, and then it stopped cutting about right there.
Yeah. So this is also the head that went through all the head studs popping, and yeah. It's all right. You know what? Even if all we did is cut 5 off of it, it's going to be flatter than if I cut none. That's why we use aviation sealing, you know what I mean? Wow, that is one warped head.
She's seen some things.
Yeah. Pretty cool having all these machines. It's cutting.
Starting to cut.
Yeah.
Woo! It's a little
Rough.
rough there. That's the rough, and they do a smooth around.
Oh yeah, here we go. And I think it changes the speed, the feed rate. Yeah. No, I guess it doesn't. It just changes the.
It's still 11,000 already.
Oh, there we go. Now it really took a high spot off over there. Did you hear it? There you go.
Well, we're cutting something. Oh, did we not even get clear to the end? No.
Yeah, we did.
See the end, no
You missed,
stop.
Will. You
Yeah.
missed this little spot here.
Nice paint job you got here. Be ashamed if something happened to it.
All right, folks. So after a very long night, we have our cylinder head done. Big thank you to Sir William Terry. I learned how to back cut valves. We did some seat work on the repair, as evident here, and we did some touch-up porting, and yeah, all in all. Oh, then we had to surface it. It was pretty warped. We had to take about 10 off the ends and then about 2 off the middle, and then Myer helped me get the fire rings recut, and yeah, we'll probably run it in the parts washer a little bit more, but we picked up flow. We fixed issues. We got the new valve springs that we tested, and they look like they're going to be certified champions.
I apologize that we did not get any time-lapse footage or anything, but Myer was over here doing this, Will and I were doing it, and I wanted to pay more attention to what Will was saying than filming. So I do apologize, but essentially what we did is we took manual seat cutters and we did 80, 60, 45, and then we back cut the valves 45, 30 on the intakes, surfaced it in the Rottler. That was pretty cool to see. I'm used to like manual machines, so that was really cool to just like watch it do its thing. And Myer got our transmission done right here. Also destroyed this paint job as well. But now we got what, a rigid band, billet drum.
Rigid band, billet drum.
We got some
special spice.
We got some serious forward piston mods going on in there.
There's actually serious mods in a lot of packs.
Yeah,
We'll
so
see how it goes.
So all I know is Myer came over and MIG welded a transmission part and then walked away. I have no idea what it is, but like I told him, like either this works or, you know, we're gonna probably go turbo 400 because racing is not fun when you're pulling the trans after every pass.
Really good on your truck, or it's gonna look really good on a for sale post.
Yeah, so we're gonna end this video off here. We'll get home and maybe I'll paint this, maybe I won't, and we'll put the head back together. Unfortunately, some of the valve seals are also pretty hammered, so I'm gonna have to get some replacement valve seals. So we're gonna just, for transport home, throw all the valves in it that we lapped in, and then I'll get some valves, and then we'll install the valve springs and get this thing ready to go. Realistically, we got a couple of days worth of work on the engine before we could even put it on. It was just kind of like the stars aligned for our time frame, Myer's time frame, Will's time frame, and they squeezed us in, so we appreciate it. And like I said, this will be the next transmission we put in there. Yeah, so it'll either be at Montana at NHRDA in Billings, or Acton, excuse me, or we will see you guys at Diesel's on the Mountain will be our next event. Those are our two events that we're looking at hitting. We also parts washed some stuff and grabbed like a head gasket and hopefully some valve bridges, which I gotta go over there and look and see, and picked up some trans parts. So all in all, hopefully you guys liked this one. Drop your comments down below if we're gonna see it any of those events. Subscribe if you are not already. And as always, I'll catch y'all on the next one.